How are we doing, guys? And welcome back to Barca Buzz. It's Barcelona 3, Atletico Madrid 1. Barcelona go 4 points clear with an asterisk, of course. Real Madrid have got a game in hand, but, we'll take it. 4 points clear. Big win. 37 points from the first 15 games after a dodgy spell in the season. And I'm joined by Ab. How are you, Ab?
Hey, how's it going, man? Pleasure to be on. I appreciate it.
Mate, absolutely buzzing with that. We make it hard for ourselves, though, once again, mate. We go 1-0 down early doors. Let's just discuss that first goal. Let's just start with the negatives, and then the rest of the video can just be positives. We can see another goal from the high line getting caught out.
Yeah, man. Once again, it seems to happen every game where we just start out. You kind of get the feeling going into a big game, tough game like this, that we're going to start out one behind. You know what I mean? But, luckily enough, we got the quality, we got the talent on the team to be able to turn it around.
It feels like every time we play a big game. Ironically, I think the only one this season where we have took the lead has been PSG, and we don't talk about what happened with the rest of that game. But yeah, even going back to last season, you obviously think about the Inter Milan semi-final, the games against Real Madrid. We kind of had to go behind in those games and come back, and it was encouraging that we did. I never really felt like we weren't going to at least score in the game. I really, it's very rare Barca don't score in these kind of games. Obviously, Chelsea was a rare off day in that kind of regard in the attacking sense, but we get a fantastic goal. Pedri to Raphinha. How much have we missed that combination for the last couple of months? Oh my word, Ab. What a goal that is.
It really just seems like it's a night and day difference when Pedri's on the field and when he's off the field. It's a completely different team, really. We managed tempos while he was on, and you noticed even when he came off, the drop off in quality, the drop off in just the play itself when he came off the pitch. Unfortunately, Casado he's not Pedri.
Absolutely. Just looking at the minute, actually, Pedri went off just on my notes. I think it was like around the 70th minute. And it's very true. At that point in the game, you look at like what happened in the match after that, it was all Atletico. And unfortunately, it's nothing against the players like Casado, Dro, coming on. It's just the fact that when Pedri comes off, your single kind of like mechanisms to control these games, especially without Frankie on the pitch and without Marc Bernal fully fit or available, it did just kind of drop. There's no question about that. You see the whole momentum, just looking at my notes of the game, the momentum just totally shifted once Pedri came off. Of course, we had to show a different side of ourselves. I think we actually defended pretty well in that last sort of 20 minutes. And Atletico had a couple of half chances. Of course, there was that massive one for Thiago Almada. But yeah, we get ourselves through that. And we have to sort of talk about the Lewandowski penalty, unfortunately. I'm just going to say now, is it time to put Rafa on the penalties?
Man, honestly, and this is just me speaking, I would have put Rafa on the penalties or anyone else really over Lewandowski. It's been a continuous struggle with him from the spotlight. Really, it's how many PKs has he missed since he's arrived? It's been a fair amount.
Yeah. Crucial ones as well at crucial times in games. That could have been potentially, game defining that today.
Yeah, there's been way too many, enough to the point, kind of like Araujo, how, he had that slip up against Chelsea where you're just kind of like, well, can he continue to play? It's the same thing with Lewan with these penalties. Like, can he continue to take them? Because, I mean, off the bat, I can think of 3. And surprisingly enough, every time he's missed a penalty, he's done that little skip thing when he gets to strike the ball. And every time I've seen that little skip, I thought he's going to miss it. Today, he didn't do it, and I thought for sure he was going to bag it and just flew it. He just blew it.
There was like a massive delay between his like run up and actually hitting the penalty. It did feel like a sort of 2-minute delay in between the two, but we'll move on from that because I agree. I think Raphinha probably does need to be on the penalties now. Just for his record alone. Lewandowski, I thought, unfortunately, with that, obviously that'll be the moment that's remembered. But I actually thought it was a brilliant Lewandowski performance. I thought he led the line superbly well, but unfortunately that penalty does take away quite a bit from that performance.
Yeah, I actually think quite the opposite of your thoughts, honestly, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought he had a very quiet game. I don't think he had too many touches on the ball where he impacted the game in a more positive kind of thing, or a more positive kind of way. I think most of his touches were kind of just neutral, just off to the side. I think I can think of twice where he dropped down and he retained the ball and allowed play to build up. But outside of that, I think it was a very quiet game for him. At least not to the standards that we should expect out of Lewan up until this point in his career. And granted, he is about to be 40 or however old he is. So they're, father time is going to get to you one way or another. But I thought it was it was an underwhelming performance for him, especially in the press as well. I think we suffered quite a bit from him specifically in the press because Rafa and Lamine they were on fire from the first minute.
Absolutely. In terms of the pressing side of things, but let us know your thoughts, guys. Let's have a bit of debate here. Would you go along with the lines of obviously Ab in terms it was a disappointing Lewandowski performance, or would you agree with myself in terms of I actually thought Lewandowski was pretty good, but we will move on from that. We'll move on from that onto the second half because there's plenty to talk about in the second half. And one player who has stood up in the last 2 games is Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, fantastic finish in what sometimes was a bit of a frustrating game for him, but he takes the goal fantastically well, and we need more of this from Dani Olmo in the big games.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's unfortunate, this injury that he's got. It's actually been confirmed to be a dislocated shoulder. So, according to reports, he may be out until January, and it's very, very, very unfortunate that this has come at this time because it just seemed like he was finally getting the wheels to start turning. He was getting into form. Was this his first goal of the season? No.
It's third since the international breaks. He scored twice against Alaves. But in terms of in the big game, it probably is certainly his first goal in a big game for a long time for Dani Olmo. And it's very on brand for Dani Olmo in terms of he only ever gets injured when he's on a great run of form. It's never when he's like out of form. It's always when he's on a great run of form. Frustrating, but hopefully for me, and obviously we're hoping he's back for Frankfurt. It's unlikely he'll be back for Betis on Saturday, but we'll find solutions. We'll find solutions, whether that'll be Raphinha going into the 10, whether Frenkie might be back available so we can maybe play more of a midfield 3 against Real Betis. Who knows? But hopefully we'll find solutions to that. But yeah, I think, we've mentioned there about Raphinha and Yamal leading the press. I thought something else that really stood out to me was Raphinha and Balde down that left-hand side. How smooth it looked. It looks like they played together for about 20 years, and never mind like a year and a half. It's down that side of the pitch, about a year and a half. But it feels like it's been a partnership that's been just going on and on and on. It is phenomenal what them two can do together.
For sure. I mean, if you keep in mind, this is in total, I think this is their 4th or 5th season playing on the same team, but it's their 2nd season playing on that left-hand side.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see that there's a lot better chemistry over there, and then the fluidity of how the game moves on that left side is so much better when Raphinha's on the pitch. He just allows Balde to just do what Balde does, and Balde just allows Raphinha to do whatever he does, We lost a lot of that early on in the season with Rashford because the chemistry just wasn't there. They're 2 different players. They're different profiles. But, wow, that left-hand flank is looking very, very dangerous.
And I think we should give credit to Rashford because I thought when he came on, I thought he was very lively when he came on in a moment on the counter. It was a weird one for Rashford. It was like watching Rashford when he was at Man United in terms of being used to playing with like loads of space in behind because at Barca, teams sit in against us. It felt like a different kind of version of Rashford that we saw late on in the game. And I thought he really did well to get Barca up the pitch. So, credit to him for that. And I think to finish off, though, one player I have got to talk about is Pedri. I mean, we've already kind of mentioned him. I thought Pedri was. I know Rafa got man of the match, and it was deserved. Rafa had an amazing performance, but for me personally, in terms of what Pedri was doing on that pitch, even half fit, he's just a phenomenon. He is an absolute phenomenon. Ab, talk to me. Pedri, wow.
And I've run out of words to describe how great this player is, man. Honestly, it's really ridiculous, man. And in a way, it kind of reminds you of, and I hate to bring up this comparison, but there's a short number 10 that's Argentinian by birth, but the sense that you get when he's on the ball is very similar. It's very similar where he gets the ball and it's just peace. The way he controls the midfield, the way he pulls the strings, the way he's finally unlocking that side of his game where he's looking for that final pass, and it's shown. It's shown the way he's been racking up assists the last couple of weeks where he's actually been able to play. And then, again, man, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's a night and day difference when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, but we're two different teams. I think it's the same with Raphinha, same with Yamal, same with Joan García as well, who, I thought, again, had a really, really good game again tonight. I didn't have loads of saves to make, but off his line, the distribution, it's just these players, those four, they are the magic four for me in this team. Obviously, we've got loads of amazing players in this squad. There's no question about that. It's an amazing team. But those four for me are the standouts who, make the real difference. And for me, Pedri, tonight, I wouldn't say it was a controlled game of football from Barca. It was kind of quite end-to-end, chances for both teams. I thought we had the better of the chances. I think we had deserved the win overall. It could have been an even heavier win. But, of course, we do have our moments of nervousness in these kind of games. It is the way Hansi Flick's football works. The attacking output is maximised, but also you do kind of get a lot of moments in the defence as well, in terms of where the defence is having to deal with a lot of situations. But when you bring Pedri on the pitch, it reduces that because he just brings calm to the chaos of Hansi Flick ball. Chaos in a good way, by the way. I do want to emphasise that. Chaos in a good way. But Pedri is the balance of Hansi Flick's football, if that's fair to say.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. And I think with Frankie coming back on the weekend, the balance is just gonna it's gonna be the perfect yin and yang. In my opinion, I think that's the best midfield duo that there is in the game currently. I'll probably sound like a homer, and that's okay. I don't care. But I think definitely Frankie brings out the absolute best of Pedri, and Pedri allows Frankie to bring the best out of himself.
Yeah, 100%. There's no question about that. It's I think Pedri can be as influential without Frankie, but I think Frankie maybe does need Pedri alongside him. But I think that's ultimately the difference between the two. I think one's a little bit more self-sufficient than the other. But it works. It just works, that midfield, doesn't it? And hopefully we have it back at the soonest possible opportunity, because that was Pedri at sort of 60, 70% fitness. What is Pedri going to be like at 100% fitness later in the season? I cannot wait. Big thanks to Ab. That has been our reaction to the game. Let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on the game today. Who impressed you? Was there anyone we haven't picked out? I mean, one player I just want to mention as well is Mr. Gerard Maldini. That man, listen, there was some dodgy moments. There was some dodgy moments in the game, but wow, I thought he did really, really well against Julian Alvarez.
This is his third game playing as a left center back, and I honestly got to say, I think I like him a lot more there than I do at left back.
Yeah, the irony is the more difficult moments in Gerard Martin's game at the minute is when he's having to actually defend out wide. Is the actual everything else? He looks so comfortable. He feels like he's been misprofiled earlier in his career as a left back rather than a centre back. But either way, it's working, and long may it continue. Let's hope it is the case. Of course, maybe there's question marks if Gerard Martin is the option longer term, but giving credit, this is the best the defence has looked for a while.
Yeah.
You have to give Gerard Martin credit. I think Pau Kubasi as well, being back on his favoured right-hand side, looks a lot more comfortable. I wouldn't quite say it's like Kubasi and Inigo last season, but let's give it time. Let's see how it develops. Gerard Maldini, absolute cult hero.
I think this centre-back duo has at least warranted that much time. I think the way they performed over the last 2 or 3 games, even including the Chelsea game, because up until, Araujo did Araujo things, I still think that center-back pairing is probably the one that we should look forward to moving forward. Because Christensen, unfortunately, he's made of porcelain, so he's not gonna last too long. Araujo looks to be like he's just scratched out, and I mean the other option is Eric, and Eric is just too versatile to be locked into a center back position. He's too good. He has to be playing, in my opinion, as a right back or at that pivot position where he can be a little more free.
And we should say as well, full credit to the Camp Nou today in terms of getting behind Ronald Araujo at times in the game. Obviously, whatever people's opinions of it are, Ronald Araujo is our player. We need the best out of Ronald Araujo. We need to stick behind Ronald Araujo. We can't turn on Ronald Araujo now. He needs the fans with him. Whether we think he's the right option for us or not the right option for us, a fully fit Ronald Araujo, fully firing is what we need. And it was very encouraging to see the fan base, react like that tonight. And full credit to obviously support us at the stadium tonight. And I never thought anything different, to be honest. I thought that would be the case tonight. There would be support to Ronald Araujo during the match. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Hopefully we get a little favour from Athletic Club tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe Nico Williams might... Yeah, a Nico Williams cooking sesh. Let's see. We shall see. But whatever happens, Barca will be top of the table going into the weekend. I'm sure we would have absolutely took that before the international break. We'll certainly take it now.
Yeah.
Ishka Barca. Big thanks to our Ab, and we will leave it there anyway, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. Follow us on X. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us all around. We are Barca Buzz. We are everywhere at this moment in time. We are everywhere. Do follow us, and yeah, we will leave it there, guys. Check us out for more videos, and yeah, we'll leave it there anyway, guys. Cheers for watching.